All right, guys, we are back with hat format finals at Epic Cards and Games in Hurst, Texas. We got Alex BDA on the left playing the Card D Artifact Trap Tricks deck versus Scott Page on the right playing Infernity. Scott Page, YCS Las Vegas 3v3 champ. Starts off by summoning Summoner Monk, discards MST, and Alex chains Maxi to the Summoner Monk's effect. So he's going to draw one card off of the monster that Scott brings out with Monk. Scott brings out Greffer. So Maxi, during either player's turn, you're going to send it from your hand to the grave. And each time, for the rest of the turn, each time your opponent special summons a monster, you draw one card. So he gets one draw off of the Greffer. Scott sends Greffer from his hand and Sidon Street Patrol from his deck to the graveyard. He banishes Street Patrol. So Street Patrol, you can banish it from your graveyard, special summon one Fiend with 2,000 or less attack from your hand to the field. So you special summon Archfiend, Infernity Archfiend. Now Infernity Archfiend, when it's special summoned, if you have no cards in your hand, search any Infernity card from your deck to your hand. So he searches Infernity Break. Now, the good news is that Scott can't use the Break because you have to have an Infernity card in your graveyard. You have to banish an Infernity card from your graveyard to destroy any card on the field. And here, Alex activates Pot of Duality, reveals Call, Card D, and Solemn Warning. So Pot of Duality, reveal the top 3 cards of your deck. Can't special summon for the rest of for that turn. You can only activate one Pot of Duality per turn as well. So he chose Solemn Warning, which is a really good counter trap. I think it's limited to 1. I didn't even know that, because it was at 2 for a long time. So Solemn Warning, you pay 2,000 life points, negate any normal, special summon, flip summon. You can negate effects, that summon. It's a really, really good card. So here he sets 3, normal summons Card D. So Card D works really well with Pot of Duality, because you can't special summon the turn you use Card D. Basically, if Card D was normal summon, you tribute it, draw 2, go straight to your end phase after. Alright. So one thing that's interesting, Scott chose to search Break instead of Barrier. So looking back, I think he does have Infernity Barrier. He probably would have searched Barrier if instead of Break, because he doesn't have anything in the graveyard. Pretty sure that's what Card D does. Let me go double check though. So Scott's thinking about what he's gonna. I think he's debating on what he's going to do here. Again, I've said this before. I don't think this deck's that easy to play. Okay, so Card D, you have to activate it during your main phase 1, and you can only activate it if it was normal summon this turn. Obviously, it can't be special summon, so it doesn't really matter. Anyway, Scott activates Summoner Monk's effect, ditches the last card in his hand, which is foolish. So he chooses an Infernity Archfiend, and Archfiend is special summoned. So he is going to search another card from his deck. He chooses to search another Archfiend, and he has not normal summoned, so let's see what Scott decides to do. BDA's got 3 back rows. So he normal summons Archfiend. How much damage is that? 18, 36. So here, BDA Torrentials the normal summon, and Scott flips Infernity Barrier, which is a counter trap, negates any spell or trap or monster effect as long as you control no cards in your hand and an Infernity monster in attack position. Which is relevant because Necromancer, when it's normal summon, it automatically switches to defense mode. So it's a big deal. Alright, so here, Scott switches Monk to attack mode. Is this game? I mean, the Archfiend is what? 54. 54, 71. So this is game if BDA has nothing, because he can attack with all the monsters and then make Gaga Cowboy. And Cowboy, like, is a rank 4, generic level 4, and you basically burn your opponent for, what? 800. We saw Scott use Gaga Cowboy to burn Julio for game in top 4, so. And here comes Artifact Sanctum from BDA. So Artifact Sanctum special summons an artifact monster from your deck. And Artifact Moral Attack, when it's special summoned during your opponent's turn, you can destroy a face-up card on the field. Doesn't target. 2100 light level 5 monster. And you can also set it to your spell and trap card zone, which is, that's how, like, if you MST it during your opponent's turn, you MST your own moral attack, it'll special summon itself. Or some people use double cyclone or the MST for artifacts. You can also use that on a moral attack. Alright, so Scott here activates Infernity Break, banishes Infernity Barrier to destroy the moral attack, so he's going to continue his battle phase and hit him with still a ton of damage. 1836. Yeah, 1836. 53, so still a ton of damage, trying to get him under Soul Charge range. Alright, so here Scott XYZ summons Lavalval Chain. So Lavalval Chain, you detach one material, send one monster from... Sorry, send any card from your deck to the graveyard, or put a monster on top. So here Scott sets Archfiend Eras. These two cards I'm not too familiar with. So Archfiend Era says, if this card is sent to the graveyard because of a card effect or being destroyed by battle, you can add one Archfiend card from your deck to your hand. You can only use the effect of Archfiend Eras once per turn. So here he searches this Archfiend Palabyrinth. So all Fiend type monsters you control gain 500 attack. That's pretty relevant. You can target one Archfiend monster you control, banish one other Fiend type monster you control, and if you do, special summon from your hand, deck, or graveyard one Archfiend monster with the same level as the targeted monster. You can only use this effect of Archfiend Palabyrinth once per turn. So it just helps you keep comboing off. So yeah, he basically just brought back Archfiend and searched Necromancer. Scott did normal summon already though. So here he summons another Lavalval Chain, detaches Archfiend, sends Stygian Street Patrol. Okay, so here remember he normal summoned. Banish Street Patrol. Bring back Necromancer. Necromancer's once per turn. Special summon an Infernity monster from your graveyard. I called it Debris Dragon or Blizzard in the past, but actually it's once per turn, so it makes it even better. Imagine if Blizzard or Debris Dragon was once per turn. Oh man. Okay, so here Scott searches Infernity Break, sets Infernity Break, and passes. So let's see what BDA can do. He's got one back row. I'm not keeping track of life points this game because they're going to bring out their calculators for game 2. I always prefer the players keep track, especially right now because we just started doing hat format on my local, so I'm trying my best to explain the cards. Because I do want to see hat format grow. I think it's a lot of fun, and I don't want to just focus on Edison. I've done Tengu on my channel in the past. Anyways, here BDA summons Traptrix Murmileo. And that's basically when it's normal summon, you search a normal hole trap card from your deck to your hand. So you search Traptrix Trap Hole Nightmare. We'll see if he uses... I mean, he can use... No, he actually can't use Nightmare on any of these monsters because Traptrix Trap Hole Nightmare says, if a monster that was special summoned this turn uses its effect, negate and destroy it. But all these cards were there the previous turn, so he can't use Nightmare on any of these cards. Now, if Scott summons something off of Necromancer, then he'll be able to use Nightmare on that card. So that's kind of the weakness of Traptrix Trap Hole Nightmare. Because I remember I was playing my friend Josh, and I knew he had Nightmare because he searched it, right? And I special summoned like Gear Gigant X, and I was just like, I'm just not going to use the effect. Go. Because he had like a bunch of back rows, like, and then then I used it the next turn. So you can play around that card. Alright, so let's see. Scott decides to attack. Sorry, he attacks with Lavalval Chain. Not Archfiend. Who's going to get their first win on the channel? BDA, who... Okay, Scott chains MST to the call, and BDA can see. So Scott 1 win away from getting his first win on the channel. First tournament Scott has joined on the channel, because he never showed up for Edison once I started filming. BDA's been on the channel a few times, but he's not a big fan of Edison format from what I can tell. So, we'll see who will get that first dub. Scott's 1 win away, or will BDA pull off the backdoor 2-0? BDA has not lost in this tournament. He had 1 draw. Versus Scott did go X2 in Swiss. So anyways, Alex summoned card D. Remember, you just tribute it. If it's normal summoned during your main phase 1, tribute it, draw 2, go straight to end phase. Can't special summon. Pretty simple card. So here Scott activates Allure of Darkness, banishes Stygian Street Patrol. And also, guys, I'm not going to explain cards that are in Edison format. I'm only going to explain the cards that aren't legal in Edison format. Because obviously my channel is mostly Edison. Alright, so here he normal summons Stygian Street Patrol. Attack. I don't even know Street Patrol's attack. Okay. Scott's bringing out the calculator, thank goodness. Oh, they both are. Why don't these guys use Neuron? Okay, there we go. 8,064. Did Scott draw all monsters this game? So here Scott sets 3. And yeah, his hand must not be good. I think Scott's on 2 Greffer. I told him, man, you need to play 3 Greffers. And Rhoda. In case you draw all monsters. Okay, so Scott passes to BDA. So BDA summons Traptrix Murmileo. Again, Stratos for normal hole trap cards. And Scott right away flips up Solemn Warning. Was that worth it? So now BDA sets 4. Maybe how much attack does Street Patrol have? Oh, it's 16, so maybe Scott needed the Street Patrol to stick on the field so that he can XYZ summon with it. I didn't know it was 16. So here Scott normal summons Infernity Archfiend. So maybe BDA has Sanctum and that's what he's thinking about. That's the only thing he would... This is the only reason he would think. Unless he's, what, he gonna warning an Archfiend? While he has cards in hand? I don't know. So obviously for Infernity cards, you have to have no cards in your hand to really use any of their effects. And Scott's got what? 2 or 3 cards in hand? It's at least 2. Yeah, I think it's 2. So 6. Oh no, Scott reset the last. 6,064. Uh-oh. You guys forgot. Scott, you forgot to take off the warding. Okay, there we go. There you go, yeah. So BDA does not respond, and Scott's going to XYZ summon Exciton Knight. So Evil Swarm Exciton Knight says, if your opponent controls more cards on the field or in their hand than it's basically a Judgment Dragon. That's how I look at it. Let me go read it. Once per chain during your main phase or your opponent's battle phase, if your opponent has more total cards in their hand and field than you do, quick effect, you can attach 1 material from this card, destroy all the cards on the field. Also, your opponent takes no further damage this turn. So you can still conduct your battle phase. Ooh, Breakthrough Skill, which is basically kind of like a Phoenix Chain / Effect Veiler or Forbidden Chalice. And Scott chains Forbidden Lance. And okay, so let's see what's going to happen here. So BDA chains Artifact Ignition to the Exciton Knight. And what's he going to target with Artifact Ignition? So this is going to be a long chain. So Lance makes your monster unaffected by spells and traps for the rest of the turn. So Scott's Exciton Knight is unaffected by BDA's Chalice. So here, I think BDA chains 2 ignitions? Okay, so he ignitions the Book of Moon. He sets Moral Attack. Yeah, this is a kind of weird scenario. So I'm guessing he's setting 2 artifacts. And then Scott's Exciton Knight will resolve and blow up the both moral attacks. And then the moral attacks will special summon themselves and blow up the Exciton Knight. Could Scott have used Exciton Knight's effect again? It says once per chain. You can attach 1 material, right? Yes. So I think he could have used Exciton Knight's effect again. I think he forgot. Or do they activate in a separate chain? Oh, yes. Yes, Scott could have used Exciton Knight's effect again. Uh-oh. Anyways, BDA. So let's go over Scott's play. Scott banished Stygian Street Patrol to special summon the Furry Necromancer from his hand. So, Stygian Street Patrol, you banish it from your graveyard, special summon a Fiend with 2,000 less attack from your hand to the field. BDA chains Maxi, so he's going to draw one card off the Necromancer, and then he drew one card off the Infernity Archfiend, since Scott special summoned it with Necromancer's effect. I think I went over these cards earlier in the duel, so I'm not going to go over them again here. So, Scott searched Barrier, so yes. Scott could have used Exciton Knight's effect again and got rid of both those moral tax that BDA has on the field. Oh yeah, this is probably gonna might cost Scott this game, but I don't know if it's gonna cost him the game. Scott's behind anyway. So here, BDA summons Constellar Pleiades. Looking at the graveyard, what are they at? 57, 64. So, Constellar Pleiades, you need 2 level 5 light monsters to XYZ summon it. It's a quick effect. During either player's turn, during either player's turn, you return one card, any card on the field to the player's hand. So here he returns Scott's Infernity Barrier. I guess he doesn't want Scott to negate his Pleiades, like if he summons an Infernity monster, and then BDA tries to use Pleiades. I think that's why he returned the barrier, so that Scott can't just barrier him. So here Scott sets 2, one of them being Infernity Barrier. What's the last card? Soul Charge? Does he have Soul Charge set? Oh, he does. Okay, so this is the first time we've seen Soul Charge in this video. So Soul Charge, you pay what? You pay life points for each monster you bring back, and you take 1,000 for each monster. You can't conduct your battle phase the turn you activate Soul Charge, and you can also, something I have not mentioned, you can only activate 1 Soul Charge per turn. Okay, so Scott paid 3,000 life points. He brought back Evil Swarm Exciton Knight, Infernity Archfiend, and Infernity Necromancer. BDA chained Maxi, so he drew 1 card. He chained Maxi to the Soul Charge, so he drew 1 card. They were all special summoned at the same time, so you don't draw 3 cards for each monster summon. You draw each time your opponent's special summon. So since they were summoned simultaneously, or at the same time, he only draws 1 card. So here, Scott searches Archfiend off the Archfiend. So we know Scott's got Infernity Barrier and some other card that he has not used. Let's see. Scott normal summons Infernity Archfiend. Yeah, normal, not special, so you don't draw yet. You're only going to draw if he exceeds summons. BDA, is he going to flip Sanctum? Does he have Sanctum? He does have Sanctum, so obviously special summon Moral. He's going to special summon Moral Attack from his deck and pop one of the face-up cards, but which one? You can really mess Scott up here because you still have not used Pleiades' effect either. So let's see what BDA decides to do. Scott is still under max C, so you can just, so he pops the Moral Attack, and then you can just put the Necromancer back in Scott's hand. So Scott already normal summoned, so what can he do? He has cards in hand, so he can't really do much. He's got Break that he, no, does he have Break? I don't know, but if he has any breaks back there, he can't use them because he has a card in his hand. So here, BDA normal summons Traptrix Dianea, which this one, when it's normal summon, you special summon a Traptrix monster from your grave. So he brings back Murmaleo. Murmaleo, when it's special summon, you destroy a spell or trap your opponent controls. So here's going to destroy the Malevolent Catastrophe, which was a bad hit because you have no, right now, BDA has no spells or traps. This has got to be game, isn't it? Scott's at what, 27? Just make Arc, right? Take the Exciton Knight. That should be game. Some people take too long on these type of scenarios. See me, when I see game, it's like, this is game. Come on, man. Just make arc. Oh, sorry. No, I didn't see the Artrine. My bad. He's got Artrine on the field. I couldn't see it. It's got to 18? You can't. Come on. BDA. Finish him off, man. Just make arc. I think Scott's telling him what to do. Yeah. Scott's like, go for Cowboy. All right, so we are going to the third game. So I think Scott forgot that Exciton Knight is once per chain. Again, we all just started playing hat format, so it's understandable. I forgot Exciton Knight's once per chain as well. I mean, it's such a good card. And that makes it even better. Like, it didn't even need that effect. But remember, you can only use Exciton Knight's effect during your main phase or your opponent's battle phase. Some people forget that. So, like, they can do whatever the heck they want during their main phase, and you can't use Exciton Knight. And obviously, it depends on... You have to have less cards than your opponent total in their hand and on their field. So, Scott went first, allures away the Stygian Street Patrol, and set one back row. So, maybe Scott drew all monsters. So, here, BDA activates the Artifact MST. Sets Artifact Moral Attack from his deck. So, remember, it's an MST, but you have to have artifacts in your deck. Because you have to set them. And yeah, now BDA sets 3, so he's got 4 back rows. Scott's going to have to play through. So Scott with the upstart. Yeah, I think... Oh, he's got Lance in his hand. I can tell all these cards got reprinted because I played a little bit of Hat in 2014. And I don't remember Secret Sanctums or Secret Ignitions. I played like the original rarity, Ultras. So here, Scott normal summons Infernity Archfiend. And BDA activates Bottomless on the Archfiend. Scott chains Lance. So Lance makes your monster lose 800 attack, and it's unaffected by spells and traps for the rest of the turn. So here, Scott activates Instant Fusion. This is an Edison card, so I'm not going to go over it. And BDA activates Artifact Ignition. Destroys his Moral Attack. So you'll see the play here. So he's going to set another artifact from his deck. Because if you don't have one in your deck, you can't activate it. So Scott chains MST to the Ignition. That way he doesn't have to worry about the other back row. And it is Breakthrough Skill. Okay. So here, BDA is going to set Moral Attack. And he's going to special summon. So when the artifacts are destroyed in the spell and trap card zone during your opponent's turn, they can special summon themselves. And then Moral Attack, when it's special summoned during your opponent's turn, you can destroy one face-up. Yes, one face-up card on the field that doesn't target. So he destroys the fusion monster. So here, Scott activates the Archfiend field spell, which this card's a little confusing. You like target an Archfiend. This card's weird. I need to... Yeah, so Scott... Oh, I think he activated just to gain 500 attack. Yeah, it's off. So it's at Archfiend is at 2300 attack. So now BDA sets another back row. So we know the other card BDA has is a Moral Attack because we saw him set it from his deck. So is Scott going to attack over the Moral Attack? And he does. What's BDA's last card that he drew? So, yes, he goes down. So, we're at 7,000 and 8,000. Or, sorry, 7,088. Now, Scott sets 2. Yeah, I don't know what this field spell does. It's like, let me read it. Target one Archfiend monster you control. Banish one other Fiend-type monster you control. And if you do, special summon from your hand or deck or graveyard one Archfiend monster with the same level as a targeted monster. You can only use this effect of Archfiend Labyrinth once per turn. Okay, so here, Alex activates Double Cyclone. So you destroy, it's kind of like an MST. You destroy one spell or trap card you control and one spell or trap card your opponent controls. So BDA targeted his Moral Attack and another trap card that Scott had. And then Moral Attack was special summoned during Scott's turn, so his effect activated because he destroyed it with his Cyclone. So here, Scott activates Skill Charge. Soul Charge! Oh, there are... Yes, you can special summon that dragon with Soul Charge because it was properly fusion summoned. It's an instant fusion, it counts as a proper fusion summon. Alright, so now they're at... Okay, so let me read this field spell. You can target one archery monster you control, banish one other fiend time, and if you do, special summon from your hand or deck, or one archery monster the same level. So let's say you target Infernity Archfiend, right? And then you banish another fiend type monster you control. So let's say you banish Necromancer, then you can special summon. Yeah, this card, I kind of get it, but I think you need 2 monsters to use this Labyrinth. So anyway, Scott's gonna XYZ summon Diamond Direwolf. Diamond Direwolf targets the back row, which is Artifact Sanctum. This is not good for Scott. This is horrible because he's going to chain Artifact Sanctum. So our Moral Attack will be special summoned, and Moral Attack's effect will be activated to destroy the field spell. But Artifact Sanctum has another effect. If it's destroyed by your opponent's card, it gets to destroy another card. And you saw there, Scott destroyed the Artifact Sanctum with Diamond Direwolf. Diamond Direwolf is a generic rank 4. You detach one material, target one beast warrior / swing beast monsters you control, and destroy any card on the field. You can also destroy your own cards. We saw Scott do that once. Most of the time you target itself, unless if you're playing like a beast deck. Alright, so Scott... So I think we know Scott's got a Infernity breaks. So here he runs over the Necromancer, attacks Archfiend. Now Scott has to decide that will he use the Infernity break? He searched break, right? So yes, he activates break. I don't think it mattered what Scott did. And the Sanctum popped Scott's Forbidden Lance. Alright, so... Yeah, Scott's debating on activating Infernity Break to protect his Archfiend. Or he's going to let his Archfiend go. Maybe he's hoping to top deck something and snipe one of Alex's back rows. I think that's what he's debating. Yes, he's going to let it go through because he's kind of like, I need to rip it. Which, that's what Infernity is known for. They're top deck Archfiend, top deck Soul Charge. But what's he at? He's at 26. So here, Alex XYZ summons Consider Pallades. And now he's probably going to force Scott to activate the Infernity Break. Yes, so he forces Scott to activate Infernity Break. Does he have any back rows? Yes, Scott's like, I gotta rip it. But he goes, no, he attacked already. Alex, you can't activate that Soul Charge. You attacked, man. Let's see, does Scott rip it? The top deck Archfiend, Necromancer, Launchers, a lot of cards. Soul Charge. Come on, Scotty. We need you to win, man. Oh, Rhoda. Rhoda's not that good here. Armageddon Knight. We know Armageddon Knight. What's he going to send? A Street Patrol? Right, you send Street Patrol. See, is where you send Bayou. I was joking. I was going to try Bayou Turbo in that format. Can you make Bayou good? I think Black Wings are better in hat format. I don't know about Bayou, though. Alright. Did he send Street Patrol with Armageddon Knight? Oh, he did. He did. Okay. So, BDA is going through his extra deck. Well, we know BDA has Soul Charge. Yeah, and he's at 74. He can mess Scott up bad. He can, if he plays 2 Pallades, what's he have in his grave? Yeah, he can bring out 2 artifacts. Yeah, I think this game is over for Scott. So here he's going to activate Skill Charge, bring back 3 monsters, 2 moral attacks, and a Pallades. He's going to pay 3,000 life points. Can't conduct his battle phase this turn. So he summons Artifact. I forgot the name of that card. And XYC summons M7. It's Durandal. Artifact Durandal. It's you need 2 level 5 monsters. Once per turn, quick effect, you can activate one of these effects. When a monster effect is activated on the field, or when a normal spell or trap card is activated, you can attach 1 material from this card. The activated effect becomes destroy 1 spell or trap card your opponent controls. So it's pretty good. You basically not negate, but like if your opponent activates any effect, you make it to where they have to you change the effect to activate to destroy a spell or trap. So congrats to Alex, getting his first win on the channel. He's our second hat tournament. I think Scott drew kind of bad that third game. The only thing is the second game, would Scott have won had he remembered that Exciton was once per chance? I think he still loses because BDA had a bunch of cards. And let me go over that other card. So that's Durandal, the level 5 that Alex summoned. It has another effect. You can attach 1 material from this card. Each player with a hand shuffles their entire hand into the deck, then draws the same number of cards they shuffled into the deck. It's a pretty annoying card. And then he summoned M7. Where's M7? M7 is, you can also XYZ summon this card by using a Constellar XYZ monster you control as a material. Except itself. Transfer its materials to this card. If summoned this way, the following effect cannot be activated this turn. Yeah, so basically you stack M7 over any Constellar XYZ, and you can't activate the effect that turn. But then the next turn, you can use this effect. Once per turn, you can attach 1 material from this card that target 1 monster on the field or in either graveyard, return that target to the hand. So it's a pretty good card. So you guys saw Alex's picture. So one thing I think I'm going to start doing is I'm going to start posting the winner's picture at the end of the tournament, just so you guys can recognize their faces and stuff. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed that finals. And for the future, I'm going to be uploading Hat and Edison. So I'm going to alternate. So the next tournament is going to be Edison, and then it'll be Hat. Anyways, I'll see you guys next time. Bye.